That's a great question. There are a lot of challenges actually facing Everglades National Park right now. One of the biggest ones is our ecosystem restoration project. That's a 40-year project, planned project, and we're in the midst of that. And everything from replumbing and directing more water flow to the Everglades to create a more balanced ecosystem, which includes building bridges and monitoring the water flows and the science. We're also faced with the challenge of invasive species. So that's impacting a lot of our native species. They're competing for resources in the park, and that's everything from pythons to invasive plants, and we have some other smaller restoration projects that are going on to remove some of the plants. We have trained volunteers to try to go after the pythons, and then certainly climate change is one of our newest challenges that we're facing. So we're starting to definitely see some effects of climate change. Sea level rise is going to be our biggest concern since we are at such a low elevation in the Everglades, and much of our park, much of our coastline, of course, is right at sea level. So we're starting to see some potential for vegetation shifts, where vegetation is moving, that's coastal, is maybe moving more inland, like the mangroves. And we're also seeing a lot of problems where there are vulnerabilities already in the ecosystem. So changes that we've made, human impacts, and at those locations we're starting to see maybe that's where climate change seems to be almost impacting the park. Well, certainly one of the biggest ones that comes to mind is sea level rise. It's a very similar challenge that we face, and the impacts that will have on both locations. It was very interesting for me to see their volunteer program, their youth volunteer program, and our park also depends heavily on our partners and our volunteers to get the job done and make things happen and make things accessible and create opportunities for our visitors that come to the park. I definitely think that Germany and America and the United States can work together on conservation. There are so many parallels and so many opportunities, and I think these exchange programs, the one-on-one connections where people have an opportunity to see firsthand what is going on in the country, and to find their own parallels and recognize some of the similarities and learn from each other's best practices. So swapping ideas, sharing information, sharing experiences, and sharing those best practices. So our Teacher Ranger Teacher program really gives educators an opportunity to learn for about 8 weeks in the summer an intensive experience in the national park. And so teaching teachers has a much broader reach than just maybe teaching one class of students. So that teacher is going to teach multiple classes and multiple years, and so and that person is also a member of our local community. So they have other community connections and ties with people that they know. So they're really helping us spread the word and helping us spread the messages that we're trying to share with our community about their national park.
Great. Thank you very much, and have a good trip here in Germany.
Thank you so very much.